Good evening. So I decided to do a YouTube video instead of, I haven't done any videos on YouTube lately, and I decided to do a YouTube video um, versus the videos that I usually do on Facebook. Um, so anyway, it's kind of just, I don't know, when your world is rocked. Okay, basically that's what this is. Okay, um the things that you think that are socially acceptable, um you grow up with being taught, things that are socially acceptable. Okay, you may not think you have a list, but you absolutely do. um I didn't even know that I had an internal list until I started going through it, and I started experiencing some of the things that, and having to do some of the things that you do just in order to survive when you are not financially secure. And so anyway, um with that being said, I mean, it's just been real. It's just been real. um I remember, not so long ago either, about 2 3 months ago, I went in to do my laundry. And, it's just kind of coincidence. It was laundry day too today. And I went in to do laundry, and I went I don't always go to the same laundromat. It's just whatever works at the time. Um, but now today I went to a different one because the bus doesn't, if I had had enough money for the taxi twice, I would have probably gone to the one up by Big Lots, and because that's the one that I like the most. I don't know. I just like, and, if okay, yes, I do know. I do know. And I like to shop at Big Lots. That's why. Okay, busted there. If I had had enough money, and it's probably a good thing that I didn't, because if I have enough money for taxi both ways, okay, on on, if I have enough money for that to go to Big Lots, or I mean, not Big Lots. Here we go, the laundromat. Then I better have enough money to shop at Big Lots too, because it is a temptation, I will tell you. And so I'm glad that I did not go to the laundromat by Big Lots. That's I believe that is Gate City laundromat. Anyway, so no, I went to the other one, um, the laundry room, and so, but that was what today was. I went to the laundromat, the laundry room, and so anyway, but usually it's Gate City. Um, so about 3 months ago, I went to Gate City, and I don't even think about it. It's like, I mean, to me, it's like whatever works. You know, I think I took the bus there, and about 3 months ago, and I got the taxi home, and oh my goodness, this woman, she thought she had me figured out. She really did. She thought she had me figured out. And so she was just nasty as can be. I think that I think there I mean, my guess would be that that was like the first time that they'd ever had to go to a laundromat, or the first time in a long time they'd ever had to go to the laundromat, because I'm telling you, it's getting real in this town. It's getting real everywhere. I mean, we're seeing more and more um, people walking with suitcases, walking with backpacks, and wild news flash for you: we're not always homeless. Um, I mean, really, I've got a place to live. This is my place, that I'm in now. I will show you. I mean, it's time to get the rest of this done, but I need to clean the rest of this up, but you know, that's my place, and this is my place, and so you know, for however long, I mean, um, having some issues, and I don't want to say all of it because I mean it would. This is public, but anyway, for however long, um, nothing, nothing is really right now something. I mean, I'm not doing anything but it being asked to be treated with respect, which seems to be not possible. But I don't break the law. I follow all the rules of my lease. Keep to myself, and it just doesn't seem, sometimes God just kind of pushes you on. Sometimes it's better to take God's lead. And I'm really thinking that that it's about time for me to have a different environment to live in without giving too much away. So, anyway, with that being said, okay, not all of us that carry suitcases are homeless, but that is the assumption um, by people that they have no clue. They drive every day. They don't have to. I mean, really, if for somebody that is near 50 years old, they should pretty much realize that a suitcase is handy because it's got wheels on it and they get to carry my laundry that way. But for whatever reason, they attach judgment to it, and I really don't care. But this time it was a backpack. Still the same issue. People that have never been in our situation judging. And so, anyway, I went to the laundromat, and here is this woman, and she is just giving me the evil eye. And she's just, for whatever reason, I don't know. But there was, well, she, for some reason, she was attaching more judgment to me, and I'm not sure why. But anyway, there was another person with a backpack that was just rude, 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 as rude as she could be. I mean, she was not there to do laundry. Um, I had my suspicions of what was going on in the bathroom, and I'll leave it at that. But she was not there to do laundry. I can guarantee you that. She didn't take any clothes out of there. She went into the bathroom, and I was keeping my stuff to my side. I was keeping watching my stuff. I mean, I was Hawkeye watching my stuff like a hawk. Um, because that girl was scoping the place out. And so she came out of the bathroom, and she just threw her backpack by the place that woman was sitting. And anyway, she was just all over the place, and the woman says, "Excuse me, I need to put my laundry here." She's, "Oh, okay." And so she moved her backpack. And so anyway, then I said, well, that was kind of rude. She says, "Well, people bring in backpacks in general." And she looked at me, and I thought, good grief. And so anyway, I said, you might want to consider that not everybody. I mean, here I am. I can get pretty, not, I guess, opinionated. I can get opinionated. I can get, I will stand up for myself, and I have no issue with it. I mean, really, at that point in the game, she was being opinionated, and she just didn't realize she was talking to the wrong one. And I said, you might want to keep in mind before you start judging, is that not everybody drives. Not everybody drives. So anyway, she was just, I don't know. She just, after that, she just looked embarrassed, but she was not going to apologize. Her husband was just looking down the whole time like he just couldn't believe of her. He couldn't believe her, and he looked at her and shook his head and just looked down. Was embarrassed, And so, I mean, looking at that, okay, it angers me because I've been in this situation for a while now, really, and it was no fault of mine, regardless of what a certain family member says, it was not. I could not have done anything I mean, it was not me that was at fault. Um, I didn't have insurance. I thought I had insurance, but my insurance had lapsed because I had somebody tamper with my bank account, and there had been proof that there had been an attempt to draw out money, and so I had to change to another account, and I had to create a whole new bank account, and so for some reason that family member wanted to blame me. No, I was not the one that wrecked into her. She wrecked into me, and so that's how I lost my car. And that was back in 2016. I was having a really hard time driving anyway. I mean, I was having major anxiety with driving, and it started because like a somebody said, you really shouldn't drive. It was when my platelet issue started, and they said you really shouldn't drive for a while because, well, if you hit your head, you're going to be in big trouble. It was after I had my platelet issues, and basically platelets. It's like your issues with your blood clotting. So, yeah, it was not a fun time. I lost my car, and not and the woman that hit me, it was a head-on collision. The woman that hit me, it just took a split second. She turned around and yelled at her kids, and that was just a split second it took, and she hit me head on. I have not been able to afford a car yet, and some of it has been, a lot of it has been moving and having to, come up with money for moving and this, that, and the other. The other part of it has just been the anxiety from being in a head on collision and not really sure if I want to drive again. But anyway, it's been a huge lifestyle change. So I look at that, and it's just time to apply grace to it because really going back, if I had seen a person bringing their backpack into a laundromat or somebody walking with a suitcase, I probably would have thinking the same thing. Um, but I mean, I don't think I would have attached as much judgment to it as she did, but I probably would have thought the same thing. Seeing somebody with the suitcase, I probably would have thought that they were homeless or something. But it gets old. It's a mentality that I think as society progresses and inflation is, our economy is just terrible. People need to realize that, if you see someone with a suitcase, a lot of times that's their transportation, and that's how they get around because they're going shopping, and they're, they may buy groceries, they may be doing laundry, they may be, whatever. And whatever they go, shopping to get, they're not going to want to just get, maybe they're just doing a major shopping trip and they're not just going to want to get a couple bags. Well, that's when a suitcase comes in handy, but there's a lot of assumption that goes with that, and really, I mean, I think we need to evolve past expecting everybody to have a car or everybody to have taxi fare, you know. And really, the interesting part of this, when I was at that laundromat, and that was about 3 months ago, you know, the interesting part of that is that, okay, she saw me with a backpack, but then, and she was there for the whole time. Um, she probably assumed the worst, and so I called the taxi, and the taxi. She was surprised that I was doing well enough to call the taxi. She just looked very surprised, and I smiled and said bye. And but regardless, I mean, if I had been homeless, what business is it of hers? Really? I mean, does it matter? Does it give you the right to judge somebody if they're homeless? No, because really, it's a blessing if you have a place to live, and you may not realize this, but God blessed you, and God can take away. God gives, God takes away. And so there was no reason for her to do what she did. Her husband was embarrassed, and I just smiled pleasantly and said bye as I got into the taxi. And so, yeah, it's really quite irritating and I think that we need to get to the point where, we know what it goes on in society now. It's becoming more of a norm. Um, this is a very conservative town, but they're going to have to get used to low income people. They're going to have to be getting used to people on disability. There are many groups they're going to be having to get used to. And they're going to have to get used to people of other races because we've got more and more of a variety of people coming into this town. They're going to have to get used to people of other races, and they're going to have to accept other lifestyles too. And really, it is not your business if somebody is gay, homosexual, transgender, and if they are, they're a human being too. And um, it is really time to embrace diversity and get past this. Society is not the way that it used to be. Um, and it's progressing and really evolving, and evolving is good. It's good. It's good for our society. And you may not think that, but hey, I mean, I didn't. I can't believe. I guess we don't question what has always been. I cannot believe that I never questioned why we only had a couple of black kids. I mean, we had two families. Two. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, we had two families in the school that I went to. Two families that were black, and I'm not sure why I never questioned why we didn't have a variety. I mean, of people in our town. I mean, I don't know why I never questioned that. And so, it's got to get to the point where we embrace our differences and realize that the world is changing. You know, and so really, and it's just been so long since I've been well to do. Like, seriously, I used to live up by well, it's a Mexican restaurant now. I think it's Puerto Vallarta, Mexican restaurant now, but it used to be Perkins, and I used to live in the apartments. Oh, it's as you're going up the hill. It's not. I think it's Summit Apartments, and I mean those are really nice apartments. I used to live there, and I mean, you pretty much got it made. I mean, you have a washer and dryer by each unit, and they're very nice. And before that, I lived in Kirkwood Meadows, I think. We lived in a lot of different apartments, but we had, I mean, I lived in Avalon Park Apartments at one time, and so we lived in some very nice apartments. Um, and My husband, he just never liked apartment living, and he was always saying something about it, like, I'm tired of this. I want a house. And he really, I mean, my goodness, when we lived at Diamond Court too. I mean, my goodness, that was a 3 bedroom apartment. It was like a house. We had a washer and dryer there. I think we had a washer and dryer there, but I mean, yeah, we did. I can't remember if it was a laundromat there or a washer and dryer inside the apartment. It's been a while. It was back in, I believe it was 2010. So, um, but we had a garage. I mean, and I remember the neighbors next to us having a garden, and they had a big enough spot in their lawn where they built a garden. Um, and so we really had it made. And the fact that he was so unhappy, I'm not, I'm not sure why, other than just he was really a rich kid. And I mean, he was just not used to living in apartments. And so, we finally split up. We split up in 2011. We got back together for a year just to see if maybe we could figure it out. No, we couldn't. We were just not meant to be. And, well, I'll tell you what, by the time 2014 hit, and I lived in some really crummy apartments for a while in 2014. Then I lived in St. Anthony Apartments, and I did not realize myself how I was so lucky. Um, and I mean, they compared to stuff that I've had to deal with. I mean, I was lucky, and but really, when 2016 hit, that's when, woo, I think I was living in St. Anthony Apartments, but that was the year before my mom passed. But it was just like the domino effect. It was my car wreck, and then it was just everything went down from my, my car wreck. Then, the year after that, my mom dies. And then, then I start getting sick mentally. I just could not handle, it was just too much for me, everything that was going on. And it was a downward slope. And so I try to give grace to people that, they don't realize, like, they're really, really not realizing how much you struggle. The things that they say are appropriate and inappropriate, they really think they are inappropriate. Um, and they don't know why, you know they don't know why what you do to them, for or what you do that is different from them. It's like foreign. They don't understand. It's weird to them. They don't understand your lifestyle because they've never lived it. And so you've got to, you know you got to give an amount of grace. And when I think about that, I'm not going to lie, it makes me mad. It made me think, what business is it of hers? But when I really stop and think about it, I used to be right there with her. I used to be well to do, and I would have never understood why a person would bring a backpack full of clothes to a laundromat, or why that they would need to have a suitcase with them. You know, I would have never understood that before now. And so, the question, I ask myself sometimes is, would you rather that this had never happened? Would you rather that this had never happened, that you had continued to be well to do and be driving a brand new Honda? Because I did have a Honda at one point too. Well, a couple of them. There was there was the one that my husband bought at first. Well, he didn't buy it right out, but he was making payments. And then there was the upgrade. For some reason, we didn't like the other one. There was an upgrade, or I can't remember if we didn't like it or his mom threw a fit because she thought it was something he did for me. And I think that's what it was. I can't remember. I do remember that there was an argument, but I think that's why, is because he told her he'd take back the yeah he told her he'd take back the other one, and that he would make sure he never gave me a car again. And so he took the other one, got the money back. Then he just, we kind of did it to spite her, but then he went and he got another one that was an upgrade and more money. She was furious. But then he did do a number on me, because he turned around and said, well, I just wanted a second vehicle. It wasn't really doing anything for you. Of course, he did let me drive it, but, you know, but he used me to co-sign, and I don't know if that's because something must have happened to his credit, or he wouldn't have needed me to co-sign. So I don't know what that family does. I'm not sure. He had an issue with his PT Cruiser because he had a PT Cruiser bought right off the lot. This is when they were new. Then he thought people were looking at him, thinking bad things about him. Oh, he did say that people in this town were looking at him, and they were laughing at him, and they were calling him names. Thought he was a sissy for driving a PT Cruiser. No, not really. They probably just thought he was a sissy. I did not say that, but no, they probably just, I mean, I don't know. He had a different appearance. He really did have a different appearance, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not saying that he looked bad. Most of the time, he looked very stylish, but I, for me, I just thought he wore too much gel in his hair and too much. Well, I don't even know if it was gel per se. I don't know how he did his hair, but I do know that it was very slicked back and very shiny. And I mean, it did not look real. It looked like a helmet. He had nice hair, but it looked like a helmet because, I mean, really to have natural looking hair, a few wisps, aren't bad, but it was so slicked back. And he wasn't the kind of guy that you'd ever see him having dirt under his fingernails because he really wasn't a hard worker. He was just kind of, you know, he was kind of a lounge lizard. And so, I mean, you'd maybe see him, like if he did work ever, you'd see him working an office job or something like that, but not really a mechanic or not really anything where he'd have dirt under his fingernails because he liked everything neat and clean and nothing was out of place. So it might have looked weird to a few people because like I said, it was just his hair was too perfect. So I don't know, but it just was weird. I mean, he thought that he was being teased for driving that PT Cruiser, so he traded it in for a truck. I think God taught him a lesson. I hate to say, because I noticed that he had wrecked it, and I think God taught him a lesson to be grateful for what. And I'm not saying, I mean, God has taught me some lessons, and this was one of them. Be grateful for what you have. I mean, really, because it could be all God has to do. Snap his fingers, and it is all gone. And so, yeah, I think that I went through it for a reason. I wouldn't take it back. I just want to get to a comfortable place now. Um, I mean, I don't care if I never drive. I just want to get a place that I never have to move from because I'm getting older and I'm just getting so tired of it, you know. And it's just getting to the point. I mean, it's just okay. I've had enough. I've had enough lessons. I already know I've had enough lessons, and so that's really all I wanted to say. I mean, it's just one of those things where you do have to give people grace because they may not be struggling or they may not have to live like you do. Um, you have to understand that to the elite, a lot of times they really don't know that they're the elite. You know, I mean, we're almost on we're almost living up the hill, okay, and we didn't own our home, but we lived in some very luxurious apartments, and we didn't realize how good we had it. We really didn't. Um, Maybe one time is like when we got that new furniture set, and he says, "Boy, it's like we're rich." Well, I mean, we were pretty well to do. We weren't rich, but we were pretty well to do. I mean, really, for anybody with a disability, I mean, we were pretty well to do. And anybody that remembers that knows. And so, it is what it is. I mean, but you have to realize that, some people, to them, it's like a normal life they're living when they're elite. And then when they see you, it's like they don't understand it. They don't understand why you need to live life the way that you do to survive. So, it's good to embrace, I guess that's been the theme of today. It is really good to embrace what is different, and not to take things personally. God's been working with me on that. It's like that woman, it was just probably an odd occurrence to her. And so give grace and know, and I would have been the same way a few years ago. Be blessed.